Hello and welcome again. So today we will actually witness a total pummeling of Magnus Carlsen versus international master Azat Sharafiev played in 2018. Although it's a clear pummeling of the IM, it's actually very instructive to see. So it will be a bit of a one-sided battle, as you can imagine, from the world champion versus any international master. But it is nice to see how the black choices are being punished and well illustrated, in my opinion. So Carlsen has the white pieces, and just go through the opening moves. I'm myself not a big fan, again, of the bishop of on d6. It's kind of in the way of your own development, but I guess at this stage black might consider playing b5 and developing the light squared bishop to b7 perhaps. However, I never was a fan of that setup. Black here castles, and now we see the move g4. And yeah, this is interesting. This kind of looks like the same idea that Kasparov actually played against Deep Junior, with the clear difference that Kasparov played the Queen's Gambit. This is clearly no Queen's Gambit, but the idea behind it is the same. Black is no Deep Junior, and decides actually to accept the pawn. So black takes the pawn on g4, which I didn't expect. I doubt Magnus expected it, but now white continues with rook to g1, instantly taking control of the g file, and as you will see in the game, it will create many problems along the g file for black. Now knight to f6, with the mentioned pressure of the rook instantly on the g file. Don't want to have that, and now we have bishop to g5. Just to illustrate what I've been saying, you can, for example, now not even play h6, because you just take on h6, and that's not nice at all. So black decides to play bishop to e7, but that will be followed up with bishop takes, and after d takes, boom, white already has the pawn back, and it looks like a nice strong attack. Now black does actually quite well here and plays queen to d4, harassing the white knight. Now the knight kicks the queen. The queen attacks b2, and white for now decides to play queen to c1. Rook to e8, kicking the black queen, and black wants to keep the pressure on the b file. Queen to f4. Now, whenever taking on b2 is an option, you always have to consider why that is. It might look very tasty to now instantly gobble up the pawn and have a very nice attack, right? You're attacking the rook on a1 and the knight on c3, but it's absolutely not good. And why is that? Because we just have king to d2. The knight on c3 is defended, the rook on a1 is defended by the other rook, and white threatens to play rook g to b1, where the queen really has a problem. So what will black do in this position? If we want to play our queen to a safe square, we need to go to b6, but now white will win a piece. Bishop takes f6, queen takes f2 check, and after knight to e2, let's say bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, and yes, it is the g file that that is the problem again. The rook is exerting pressure on g7. G7 is pinned because the king is on g8, and white is up more than enough material to win the game. So it's not an option to play our queen back. So let's try bishop to g4. But now you get rook to b1. Cannot save your queen, but perhaps we can counterattack. Bishop d6 is the best move here. And after rook takes, bishop takes check, bishop takes, bishop takes. It is actually white who calculates a little bit further ahead, and rook takes b7, and white is clearly winning. So that is why we don't take on b2. Now, interestingly enough, in this position, black can actually play knight to g4. And yeah, there are many options now for white. Let's go through them. So if white decides to take, then it is a problem, because now black can actually take on b2. And the fork will work. because after king to d2, oops, we don't have our rook anymore on g1, so now queen takes a1, and it is not nice for us, to be simple. So we cannot take the knight. So okay, then let's castle and see what happens. Oh, we have bishop d6. Well, we need to move our queen. It's quite clear. So queen to d2. And now, after queen takes f2, well, let's try to kick the knight. Black just trades queens. Queen takes d2 check. Rook takes d2. And after knight to e5, black is doing very nice and is up material. So that is not a thing we want to do for white. So let's have a look again. After knight to g4, what other options do we still have? Well, we have the very nice response. Knight to e5, attacking the black knight and simultaneously attacking f7. And if you play this, you must have calculated the following line, because this is the most likely follow-up. Queen takes f2 check, queen takes f2, knight takes f2, bishop takes e7, consider the fork, so bishop takes e7, rook takes e7, knight takes c6, knight takes d3 check, pawn takes d3, and now b takes c6. So you should have calculated the line till here to make that decision. And looking at this position, although black is a pawn up, I'm quite sure that Carlsen would be comfortable playing this endgame, and very likely stand very good chances in it. So let's go all the way back, because none of this occurred. Instead, black did not play queen takes b2 or knight to g4. Black played king to h8. Now, of course, Carlsen decided to castle. It defends the b2 pawn, and with that kind of solves all problems for now, at least for white. Here, if we now play queen takes f2, just wanted to point out that will give a bit of a problem, because now white has bishop takes f6, and after bishop takes f6, now d4. And the idea is simple. It's rook d1 to d2, attacking the black queen. And as you can see, all of the squares where the black queen can go to is under control of white. So it will lose the queen, and the only way to solve that problem will still cost us material. An example would be bishop to e5 is actually the best move here. And then after pawn takes, we do have our queen, but we're down a piece again, so it is game over. So we cannot take the pawn on f2, and black didn't, and played bishop to e6. Now queen to h4, c5. Now rook g3, the idea is clear, we want to double up the rooks. Knight to g8, and after knight to g8, white continues with, oh sorry, I'm crashing here. White continues with bishop takes, rook takes, and now knight to g5. Small little threat of checkmate, a little bit annoying. Black plays h6, f4. We don't need to move our knight because the pawn is pinned clearly. Now f6, attacking the knight. We want to keep our knight, so knight to f3. Queen to a5, and yeah, f5. So making sure that the pawn on g7 cannot move, gaining space for us, and of course kicking the bishop as well. So bishop to d7, knight to d5, shouting boo at the rook. Rook moves, rook d to g1, doubling the rooks. And now we have a very nice move for white. Feel free to pause the video and try to find it. I will continue in 3, 2, 1. Knight takes f6. Absolutely beautiful. After g takes f6, boom, rook takes g8 check. Well, rook takes g8. Queen takes check. Rook to h7. And after queen takes f6 check, we have a problem, because there are only two moves legal here. Rook g to g7 will lead to check, rook back, and checkmate. So black tries the other rook, and rook h to g7 leads to the very nice subtle move, rook to g6. And it's actually very, very nice end position. It's here that black resigned. Why is very clear. The rook on g7 is pinned. Our threat is rook to h6 mate, and there's absolutely no way that black can handle this. First of all, also very nice, the knight on f3. Almost forgot it, but it's actually doing something very, very important. It allowed white to play a move without check, because the checkmate of the queen is not there because our knight is defending e1. So nice. And yeah, so let's go over the moves that black might potentially have. If black says, okay, let me move the rook to make some air, yeah, checkmate instantly. So the rook needs to keep defending. So there is really nothing we can do here. If queen b6, if we ignore it, we have checkmate instantly. And all other moves also do nothing. The only move that will delay it a bit is bishop takes f5, but we just take and renew the threat. And you cannot stop it. By the way, funny, in this position, taking is the best, but if you accidentally touch your rook, you still have a very beautiful finish, because if you touch your rook, you can still play rook to h6 check. Now bishop to h7. We take, check, need to take back with the king, of course, check with the queen, king g6, and we still have a checkmate. The pawn, queen, and knight work together to deliver checkmate to the king at g6, just as a funny line that I want to show you. Okay, so this was the end position. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this video, and let me know what you want me to do next. Thank you for watching, have great games, and hope to see you in future videos. Bye bye.